Okay, so this video is to help you guys understand what this project is about and how to go through it and fill it out, because at the end of this week you're going to be turning in this whole packet completed to me. Okay, so this project is worth quite a bit of points, and it's going to test your understanding of systems of equations. So let me explain what this is, and you can read along with me in your packet. So, if you received this application, it means you may be selected to appear on Illest Road Trip of All Time. IRT is a new show where groups of people get $10,000 for a road trip that will be a unique, life-changing, and eminently watchable experience. The money you spend will mainly go towards two things: your vehicle, rental and gas, and your daily expenses, hotel and food. So let's underline that, just so you know those are where your two things are going to go towards: rental and gas and hotel and food. Okay? Plan carefully. Groups who do not plan to spend at least $9,500 of the money will not be considered. Okay, so they will give you $10,000, but you have to spend $9,500 of it. Okay? The possibilities for your trip are limited only by your ability to budget the money. MTV can drive its production vans anywhere in North America and has relationships with gas stations, hotels, and restaurants to provide you with what you need to finish your journey. You can take as many as you wish stops along the way as you start and finish in New York City. So you're going to start and finish in New York City. Okay? You could take a trip as short as 1 week long or as 31 days. Okay, so from 1 week to a month. You can use the money on a solo drive from the beaches of Cancun to the mountains of Alaska and stop by California on your way back. The trip cannot go across the Atlantic Ocean to Europe or across any other body of water because a road trip needs to take place on an actual road, not a boat. You can also use your money to take up to 7 of your friends on a lavish trip up and down the Jersey Shore. So, up to 7 of your friends. Okay? Remember, it has to be in the North America. North America consists of the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Okay? MTV wants to support an impressive and detailed trip, and one of the most important things to show is that you can manage the money well. That means you need your trip to fall between $9,500 and $10,000. Okay? As long as the ideas are well thought out, MTV will consider any proposal. So your job is to complete this abstract. This whole packet is the abstract, and you're going to turn this in to me at the end of this week. Okay? So, who will attend the trip? Bring up to 7 other people. On the lines below, write the names of your friends, family, even famous celebrities. MTV can pull strings. This is for anybody you want to take with you. So you and then up to 7 other people. You could just be you by yourself, although that would be kind of lonely. You can take famous people, not dead people, obviously. So anybody who's famous who's still alive, any friends, family, whatever. Okay, so that's the first page. Let's look at the second page. So, part 1, expenses. Your main expenses for this trip outside of the car will be food and lodging, which are calculated separately. MTV will provide you with 3 different types of food and lodging. So you have 5-star, 3-star, or 1-star. And they tell you how much they cost. Okay, so lodging, luxury, hotel or campground, baggage, designer brand baggage, high quality duffel bags or plastic bags. Okay, so you get to fill this out. You get to decide how much money you're going to be spending on food and lodging. Okay, keep in mind that they're calculated separately. I underline that up here. Calculated separately. Okay, so you're going to have expenses for food, plus expenses for lodging, plus expenses for baggage. You might notice food is a per day, lodging is per day, baggage is not per day. So figure out how to calculate that when it's not per day per person. Okay? You're going to come up with an equation for this expense stuff, and then you're going to move on to part 2. This is where you get to have some fun. Part 2, map. Create a map for your trip using Bing Maps. So you're going to actually use an iPad, okay, to create your route. And you're just going to follow these directions on this page, okay? And you're going to write down all of your destinations. If you have more destinations, add a piece of paper to this, because this only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 destinations. If you want to go to more than 8, you're going to have to include another piece of paper. Okay, so you're going to write down how many total miles, how many total hours. Bing will tell you how many miles and how many hours. Then you get to answer these questions here too. Okay, so that's part 2. Part 3, vehicle expenses. MTV will allow you the free use of the following vehicles for your trip because they have product placement deals. Make sure you have enough room for all of your passengers. So keep in mind, if you're taking 8 people, you're probably not going to take a Suzuki, okay? Pay attention to the miles per gallon. You will have to pay for gas as well. Okay, so they give you 5 options. You get to pick. Which one did you pick and why? Once you choose a vehicle, use the miles per gallon to figure out how many gallons it will take you to finish your trip. Total miles divided by miles per gallon. Pretty simple. Okay, all of this stuff is pretty easy to do. Okay, all it says down here, 70, 82 miles per gallon, city highway, city highway, city highway, city highway, city highway. Each of these has a per day expense. Okay, so based on miles per gallon, capacity, and how much it's going to cost you every day. You should look at those 3 things when you're figuring out which vehicle you want to choose. Part 4, calculating costs. Use the equations to calculate the cost of a 1, 2, 3, or 4 week trip. Write your results in the table. Show your work for at least one example below. Okay, so if you went for 7 days, your example or your vehicle costs, you're going to check it's not part 4, it's actually part 3. Okay, so write down part 3. Your vehicle cost from part 3, that equation you came up with there, you're going to write that here. Food and lodging costs, that's part 1. Okay, so you're going to find those 2, figure out what it costs for 7 days for both of those, add those together, and that's your total cost. And use an example down here to show me that you know what you're doing. Okay, if you can't find a suitable trip in the table above, then you should be able to use the tables below to determine what the longest possible trip could be. Remember, the trip must be between $9,500 and $10,000. So if any of these don't give you between $9,500 and $10,000, you need to come down here and figure out something else that will. Okay, it might be that no length trip will work. If that is the case, adjust your equations by choosing different values for hotels, cars, food. Maybe you chose the expensive everything and you're way over budget, or you chose the least expensive everything and you're way under budget. Okay, so you got to figure out what combination of those would give you between $9,500 and $10,000. Then go through and total up all these equations again. Additionally, if you had to change any of your equations, explain your changes below. Maybe you tell me that, yeah, I went extravagant everything and I had to scale back my hotel room or something. Okay, so that's part 4. Graph 2 equations, or the total 2 equations below. Include labels on the x and y axis, a title, a key, and a very neat graph. So the equations you came up with over here, you're going to graph them, okay, on this paper. Okay, and then part 5, sponsorship. MTV regularly has offers from companies for product placement in their reality shows. Companies will pay MTV and you to TOO if their products appear in the show. Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and Snapple have both agreed to pay participants if their products appear on the show, but participants must choose only one deal, and the amount depends on the length of your trip. Okay? Use the information to find an equation for the amount of sponsorship money you can make for each day of the trip. Show your work and explain the steps below. So, must choose only one. The amount depends on the length of your trip, so you get to figure out which one of those you would do. Demonstrate how you know the equations work by checking your answer here. Explain in words how you found the equation for Coca-Cola and Pepsi based on your trip, okay, and how much it would cost for each day. You can make, so say, for example, Coca-Cola, your trip was 5 days long. You can make $134 a day for 5 days. Okay, so how much money would that give you that you could spend on your trip? Okay, and then parts. This is still part, why is this part 4? This should be part 6, not part 4. Part 6, VI. Use your equations from part 3 to find out how much you'll make with each plan for 1, 2, 3, and 4 days. This is just the page below, or page behind this one. So for your trip, how much would you make for 7 days with Coke, Pepsi, Snapple? On what day would Pepsi and Coke pay the same amount? On what day would Coke and Snapple pay the same amount? On what day would Pepsi and Snapple pay the same amount? So you get to figure out those 3. Use the chart below to graph all three equations for Pepsi, Snapple, and Coke. Where on the graph does it show the best company to choose? Graph all those, and that's it. Okay, that's the whole project. So this is due, I want you to write on the very top, due Friday, March 10th, at the end of class. Okay, so you're gonna get, as soon as you finish your test, okay, so it shouldn't take you the whole 2 hours to do this test. I'm gonna give you an hour to do the test, and then, which you've already completed, so that makes sense. So you're gonna have half the class today, all of Wednesday, and all of Friday to complete this and turn it in. And you can do this at home as well, okay? So there's no excuse as to why this can't be done by Friday at the end of class, okay? I will tell you when I get back on Wednesday how many points this is gonna be, and I do expect you guys to have this done by then, okay? So if you have any questions, I left the sub notes. I'll be back on Wednesday. Have a great one.